Well, it's a very, very fresh, sunny morning, very frosty. The lakes here are actually frozen. It's pretty much fair to say that this is probably one of the first ever commercial fisheries. I remember coming here and fishing a club match here right back in the early 90s. This is Makins. Back in the day, this was owned by, as the name suggests, Billy Makin. However, he hasn't owned this fishery for a number of years now, and the fishery has quite recently changed hands. And at this time of year, it's currently January, the time of filming. This is the time of year when lots of fisheries tend to do a lot of work on their fisheries. They do a lot of restocking, netting, desilting, that sort of thing. And that's one of the tasks that's taking place here. I'm over on phase 3 of the complex. It looks absolutely fantastic in the sunshine, but like I say, the lakes are frozen. Now there are 6 lakes here, and the reason why we're here is because they're actually doing some work on the actual lakes themselves. Certainly 3 or 4 of the lakes are currently drained, and that's because they're remodeling the banks, they're desilting the lakes, they're looking at obviously the stocking program as well, so there will be fish going into these lakes. There are currently 3 or maybe 4 that haven't got water in, so I'm just going to be showing you how they're actually resculpting the banks here, showing you what the existing banks look like. There are some undercut banks which are always interesting to see, and there may even be the odd item of tattle as well that's, that they've actually found. But this is the first lake that you come to when you drive into phase 3. This is 7. As you can see, this one has got water in it, and you can see where they've already worked on the banks and everything. This is the first lake that you come to when you drive in. This is actually on your right hand side. However, the lakes just behind me, they're the ones that they are currently working on. One of the things I like about this lake, 7, I mean obviously there's some new pegs going in, as you can see. Lovely, nice, fresh pegs. But as you can see over there, there are actually stakes on the island, and that is basically to give you an idea of which peg can cast to that far bank and which line they should be casting on. It's just obviously it causes some problems in some matches where you've got anglers like this all wanting to cast to that far bank and not really knowing what is straight in front of them or what they should be casting to. Well, they are allowed to cast to. That's what those stakes over on that far bank are for, which I think is a really nice feature. Well, I've just been walking around the lake and look who I've bumped into. This is Andy Pell. I was going to say you're the new fishery manager, but you've been here a while now, haven't you?
I've been here, yeah, 5.5 months now.
5.5 months?
Yeah.
And you're already straight into it, aren't you?
Straight into it, mate, yeah.
Just so everyone knows, I mean, you come from a tackle shop background, don't you?
I do, mate, yeah.
So you know and obviously you're a guru angler as well.
Good,
I'm hoping you still are a guru angler.
I am at the minute. I don't go fishing much now, no time, but yeah, I'm still on the books.
You're certainly putting your mark on the place. This is 7. This is the first lake that I've come to, Andy, and obviously I can see how much work you've done on it. It looks like you've obviously done your work on this one. Can you just talk us through how you've actually changed this lake?
Yeah, so when I got here, this lake, it had the central island, but it wasn't that long. We had 2 big reed beds coming around here. Right. Which was very overgrown, very silty. We had problems with fish health because you couldn't get any water movement.
Right, okay.
Even on a windy day, there was virtually no water movement.
Right, so, right. You mean like oxygen getting in the water?
Yeah,
right,
and water needs to move around the lake for it to be healthy. Okay. So, yeah, we was going to change it slightly and dig it out, so we went for a proper change. The reed beds came out, we've lengthened the central island, and I wanted to offer something a little bit different. I wanted to create a lake where there was a little feeder chuck, a little waggler chuck over to the island, as well as pole fishing, margin fishing. So we've put some lovely features in the lake. We've got ledges, we've got a deep track, we've got a 5-foot flat area going out, and then we've got a nice ledge over on the island. Probably comes off 2 meters or more. What's maximum cast you're going to have here? Is that the widest bit over there, would you say? That's it. What's that, about 20, not 25, 22, 23 meters? That is actually, we measured it and it's almost like 28 meters. 28? This side is about 23, I believe. Right, okay. So the island wasn't central. Yeah, so one side's a bit wider than the other, but it's going to offer people just something a little bit different. We're going to have a lot of water movement when it's not frozen. Well, the lake here that is currently being worked on by the lads over there, this is inner and outer Avon. Drastically changed. As you can see, the central
part of the island has already been landscaped and sculpted and everything. There's a real nice, quite steep slope going up to that other bank. I'm not quite sure where the water level will be when this is finished. Obviously this is going to be filling up over the next few weeks. They are planning to open this phase during the springtime, but on this bank, on the near bank, you can actually see that this hasn't been touched yet, and this is when you can see some of these undercuts actually on the inside, which is obviously what you sometimes get on that far bank. But some of these undercuts here, it just shows how when you can catch fish close into a margin, sometimes they've got that much cover, even when you think there isn't any cover, just by the bank. Down actually on the lake bed now, or what will be the lake bed, but look at that for an undercut. Look how far underneath that goes. Just looking down here from there, you wouldn't imagine, but look how far underneath you can actually go. That is incredible, look at that. So sometimes when you're catching close to a near bank margin like this, you sometimes forget that there could be up to half a metre, if not more, of water that's actually underneath the bank. When you've got lakes drained like this, it also exposes how they actually fill up. Lots of people ask about some fisheries, they just wonder where the water comes from. Sometimes the water will naturally fill these lakes up just through the natural water table. However, this one, if you can see in that top corner there, up there, that is Derwent, that's the Lake Derwent, and as you can actually see, it is actually much higher, so it looks like that's the top level, and the water runs out of Derwent and down into the next lowest lake, and that's when these pipes here are actually exposed. Obviously when this one fills up, the water runs out of there down into here, and then that's how this one fills up. It's just one of those things that when you get fisheries that are built on hillsides, that's how, and this is why, you generally find that every lake is on a slightly different level. This is over on the near side of Avon. Basically there's the car, that's the main car park there, where the diggers and things are. As you can see, this section here, it's quite a steep bank here, and I don't know if this is where you get a bit of runoff, but as you can see, they're actually reinforcing this bank all the way across with these wire cages that they've actually filled up with rocks, and that's running right the way along this bank to help reinforce it. But yeah, you can see that's not going anywhere, and then obviously they've backfilled it after that. So these pegs here, if it stays like this, you're going to have quite a bit of depth at your feet. And as you can see, the lads down there are actually cutting that bank back, and I'm assuming they're cutting that back down there is because these cages are going to continue further down there, so it's going to run down the bottom side of this steeper bank. We're actually on Avon now, Andy. This is the one that I've been admiring. I can see you put a lot of work into this one. This has changed, hasn't it, from how it was?
It has. It used to be two lakes, so we had Outer Avon, Inner Avon. Okay. That was changed before I got here. That was changed a couple of years ago. Right. So when I first came here, I'd come down here to meet the boss and looked at this lake and thought, that's not right. So I had a chat with him when I started here, and he agreed to let's get it how you want it.
So you were influencing him right from the start?
I was pretty much from day one.
Straight on it. How many pegs do you reckon you're going to have on this one when it's done?
This will be a good 20 pegs, not too tight. A nice 20 pegs, I would say.
Oh, okay. Well, some of these pegs they look quite a bit wider here. I mean, what sort of width do you think you're going to have to the island there?
Yeah, this part of the lake here is obviously a lot wider. Yeah. Be a lovely little chuck on a little method or a little waggler either. Some areas are not quite as wide, but it is what it is. But it's 100% better than what it was.
Maximum depth?
Maximum depth again, 5 to 6 foot down the middle. I'd say. We've got a nice shelf over. Yeah. It's going to be nice. It's a little bit different to what it was. Predominantly pole. This is going to, like I say, bring the feeder in, the waggler in the summer.
So we're over at Thames now, Andy. I mean, obviously there's not much water in this one. What are the plans for this one?
So this one here is we're mainly desilting and getting the far side how we want it, and some opposite each peg we're going to have a nice little cut-in, obviously for anglers to fish long pole at 2 and have a nice depth in the summer. Right, yeah. Where the fish will go up and put their nose in, and that's mainly it really. We're not actually changing the features of the lake. It's still going to be a pole lake.
Okay, what sort of depth will this be maximum, do you know?
This will be down the track, I'd say probably 6 foot.
We're over on Anchor now. This is the one at the far side. This looks like a lovely strip of canal. What are your plans for this one?
So as you said, it does look like a bit of a canal cutting. So we're going to drain it down, give it a trim up, and then we are going to make it into what would be a canal, if you like. Loads of silvers. Yep. Mainly pole work. We're going to put some tents, some crucians in. And people can sit here nice and peaceful. Imagine they're on the canal, but without the hassles of canal fishing. And probably more fish.
Plenty of room here for the pole and everything, isn't it? It's nice width as well. I've got to ask, that's not one of your platforms, that, is it?
No, these are from the Billy Makins days.
The original Billy Makins platform, look at them.
In the late 80s, early 90s, so unfortunately they'll be coming out. We'll have some better platforms. They've served their purpose.
This has been a fascinating insight into an already very well established fishery, just to show you how they're redeveloping and just investing in the future. It's great to see fisheries doing that. It's been a fascinating insight, and we've also got special permission to come along here to see and witness and film the stocking of these lakes as well. So you're going to be getting a chance to see all the fish that are going in here, what size they are, what species they are, and we've also been given permission to come along and fish this lake behind me, so hopefully that's something that you're going to enjoy. I really hope you've enjoyed this style of video. I know lots of these behind the scenes kind of videos are what you want to see, and if it is something you want to see more of, please give this one a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from this channel and watch me fish this lake. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.